Rangers head into this demanding stretch of the season with a weight hanging over the squad, a problem that arrived at absolutely the worst possible moment and instantly shifted the atmosphere around the club. The preparation for the meeting with Dundee United had been sharp, focused, and steady, but everything changed the moment the news broke behind the scenes. Instead of building momentum and strengthening rhythm during a period where every training session counts, the manager now faces yet another obstacle that forces tactical adjustments, squad reshuffling, and a level of improvisation no club wants in the middle of winter. It is the kind of disruption that throws off the balance of a team already stretched thin, and for Rangers, who have been trying to hit consistency after a congested schedule, it brings frustration more than anything else. The squad had already been dealing with absences that were difficult to cover, and even the senior players available were being pushed close to their limits. The defensive sector in particular has been operating on a tightrope, trying to manage the workload of experienced figures while hoping for quicker recoveries from those already out. With Derek Cornelius unavailable until the start of January and uncertainty still surrounding John Souttar's return date, every option the manager trusted carried even more weight than usual. Bailey Rice remaining sidelined until the new year only added to the concerns, creating a situation where flexibility in the squad was becoming scarcer by the day. Against that backdrop, losing a player further up the pitch might not appear to be the most damaging blow, but in reality, it removes another piece of the puzzle the manager had been trying to stabilize. Oliver Antman had been seen as a player capable of injecting freshness, unpredictability, and energy into the final third, something Rangers have been trying to shape into a reliable weapon throughout this campaign. His arrival from Go-Ahead Eagles represented not only an investment but also a belief that his style could blossom in Glasgow, giving the team an extra dynamic option across the attack. This period of the season was meant to be crucial for him, a chance to properly settle, understand the rhythm of Scottish football, and carve out his role in a squad constantly adjusting to new demands. Instead, everything has come to a sudden halt. The hip injury he has suffered is far from minor, and the initial estimates point to a long recovery that could easily see him miss around 13 matches. That is a massive blow for any player, but particularly for one still trying to integrate fully into a side that relies heavily on movement, intensity, and quick transitions. The timing could not be worse. As the winter fixtures pile up, games come thick and fast, and each one requires players with sharpness, physical readiness, and tactical clarity. Rangers are staring at a long run of domestic and European commitments, and the thought of facing all of that with a reduced squad adds a layer of pressure that the manager never wanted. Hearing the manager outline the severity of the situation only made the scenario feel heavier. 8 weeks might not sound too long on paper, but in football terms at this time of year, it is enormous. Even once he is cleared to train again, his match sharpness will lag behind, his rhythm will take longer to recover, and the physical load the system demands will not be easy to meet straight away. In a structure built on pressing, fluidity, and fast attacking transitions, you cannot simply drop back into the side at half pace. The risk of aggravating the injury would be too great, and no one around the club wants to see the player forced into a rushed return that jeopardizes the rest of his season. For Antman himself, the frustration must be overwhelming. He had been pushing hard in training, trying to show more of his personality in the final third, aiming to convince the staff he deserved a growing role in big matches. Being sidelined now means weeks of watching from a distance while the team battles through one of the tightest periods in the calendar for a footballer eager to prove his worth. That kind of wait feels endless. The momentum he was starting to build has been stopped entirely, and by the time he returns, the team dynamic may have shifted again. For Rangers as a whole, the impact is equally challenging. The schedule ahead offers no breathing space, and the squad will be asked to operate under intense pressure across competitions. The absence of key defensive players had already forced creative squad management. Now, losing a forward who brings versatility and movement reduces the available tools even further. Coaches can adapt certain tactical ideas, but they cannot manufacture depth where it does not exist. This situation reinforces something the supporters and the board have been aware of for some time. The upcoming January window will be crucial. Winter recruitment always requires precision, and this season even more so. Reinforcements must be prepared, available, and capable of stepping in immediately. Rangers cannot afford slow adaptation or long settling periods when the squad is already stretched. The next month will test not just the players on the pitch, but also the decision-makers behind the scenes who must ensure that the club enters the second half of the season with the depth necessary to handle the demands placed upon them. The campaign is still very much alive, but it is a delicate balance, and every decision carries weight. While this injury story continues to develop, another important update has emerged concerning midfielder Nico Raskin, clearing up confusion surrounding his contract situation. Many supporters believed he would be out of contract in the summer of 2027, but the deal he signed actually runs through to 2028. That correction brings relief, especially considering how important he has become in the midfield and how consistently he has delivered under several different managers. His ability to operate both as a deeper midfielder and as a more advanced option has provided tactical flexibility that the team has relied on. Raskin's journey at Rangers has not been smooth throughout, given the turbulence the club has experienced with managerial changes and competitive pressure. Yet despite those challenges, he has fought to regain his level whenever setbacks arose. The period earlier in the season when he was dropped brought plenty of speculation and even some unfair narratives, but he spoke openly about how difficult that moment had been for him and how determined he was to stay focused, work through it, and regain his place. The support he received internally helped him steady himself, and his performances since then have shown why he is valued not just by supporters, but by teammates as well. Raskin has gradually rebuilt his confidence, and every match he has played under the new manager has shown a midfielder fully committed to proving his worth again. His physical work rate has gone up, his passing has regained sharpness, and his overall influence on the rhythm of the team has grown with each performance. He has spoken openly about how mentally draining that earlier part of the season had been, but the way he has responded since then tells its own story. Instead of letting frustration take over, he chose to channel that energy into training, into competing for his place, and into reminding everyone what he brings to the side when he is at full tilt. This resilience is one of the reasons many around the club were relieved to learn that he remains contracted through to 2028, giving the squad stability at a time when consistency is badly needed. His father also made clear that the player has no intention of leaving in January, which is a positive sign for the club, especially considering how many things are shifting behind the scenes as the winter approaches. With the World Cup on the horizon next year, he knows the best way to strengthen his chances with the Belgian squad is by staying fit, playing regularly, and performing for Rangers. That commitment has not gone unnoticed by the supporters who have rallied behind him as he looks to continue the strong form he has shown in Europe and in high-pressure domestic fixtures. His ability to handle the tempo in continental matches has been a major asset, and the way he carries himself in derby games has only strengthened his reputation. As the squad navigates this difficult period, the blend of younger talent and experienced figures will play a huge role in determining whether Rangers can maintain their pace in the league and manage their European ambitions at the same time. Injuries have stretched the squad to a point where even slight setbacks can feel like major blows, and that requires leadership from those who remain available. Players who may not have been central figures earlier in the campaign are now being asked to take on bigger responsibilities, both in training sessions and in actual matches. Every performance matters, every substitution carries weight, and every tactical adjustment becomes part of a larger attempt to stabilize the team until the full squad is available again. The manager has spoken repeatedly about the need for adaptability, and that philosophy will be tested more than at any other time in the season. With the heavy run of fixtures, the coaching staff must balance workload, avoid overuse injuries, and keep the squad mentally sharp. Yet, despite the challenges, there is a sense of determination in the group. The attitude in training has remained positive, with players understanding that these difficult stretches often define a campaign. It is during moments like this that squads either rise together or begin to crumble under the weight of expectation. The hope inside the club is that the team can use this moment to show unity, resilience, and a willingness to push through adversity. The supporters have also played a massive role bringing energy and encouragement during matches when the squad looks visibly tired or short on options. And having that emotional lift at Ibrox can change the flow of a game, especially in tight encounters where small details decide the outcome. With so many key figures missing, home performances become even more critical, and the players have spoken multiple times about how the atmosphere helps them dig deeper when their legs start to fade. There is a recognition that unity between the team and the fans will be essential in the weeks ahead. Off the pitch, there is also a growing awareness that the upcoming transfer window cannot be approached lightly. It is clear that reinforcements are needed not only to strengthen the starting 11, but to provide competition and cover that can help prevent this kind of situation from spiraling again later in the season. The board and recruitment team have been doing their groundwork, knowing that the margin for error is tiny and that any arrival must be capable of contributing almost immediately. Rangers cannot afford to bring in players who require long adaptation periods or who cannot handle the physicality of the league right away. The next phase of the season may well hinge on identifying the right profile of player and acting quickly. This is especially true when considering the physical demands placed on the current squad. Matches every few days, travel across Europe, cold winter conditions, and the intensity of domestic competition all combine to wear down even the strongest teams. Having a deeper bench allows for rotation, strategic rest, and more tactical options during matches. Without that depth, the burden falls on the same group repeatedly, increasing the risk of further injuries and fatigue. The injuries to the defenders already exposed how thin certain areas are, and losing a forward only highlights the importance of addressing these gaps quickly. Looking at the bigger picture, the club understands that stability is key. The manager needs the tools necessary to implement his long-term vision, and that means ensuring the squad is balanced, energetic, and capable of playing the style he wants. The system relies heavily on mobility, pressing, and quick combinations, and to maintain that week after week, the squad must have enough variety to rotate seamlessly without a major drop in quality. That is why the coming weeks are so crucial. Every result, every performance, and every injury update has the potential to shift the direction of the season. While supporters wait for updates on Antman's recovery, attention naturally turns to how the team will adjust in his absence. Some players may find themselves in roles slightly different from what they are used to, and others may be given opportunities that were not previously available. These situations often reveal unknown strengths or hidden potential within the squad. Young players who have been working quietly in the background may now step forward and contribute in ways that accelerate their development. Veterans who have been rotating may be asked to take on more minutes, guiding the younger members of the squad and bringing calmness in tense moments. What is certain is that Rangers cannot rely on hoping for luck. They will need structure, patience, and a collective belief that the group can handle whatever comes next. There is no denying that the timing of this setback feels cruel, but football rarely provides perfect circumstances. The key is how the team responds, how they approach each challenge, and how they maintain focus across a winter period that always tests the limits of every club in Scotland. Everyone connected to the squad knows that the next few weeks carry massive weight, and every point gained could prove decisive later in the season. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. The hush around Ibrox turned into a low, roaring murmur last night as word drifted out of the home dressing room that Jack Butland, usually the calmest head in a storm, had let rip in a way few inside the club had ever witnessed. According to folk close enough to hear the commotion, but far enough away to deny any official involvement, the goalkeeper's voice thundered through the corridor, followed by the unmistakable crack of a boot scalping off a locker. "I dinna accept this," he allegedly bellowed, the kind of line that instantly turns rumor into legend. Those inside the camp insist tensions had been simmering for weeks. Some players, it's whispered, were left looking at their boots as Butland let loose, while others nodded along as if he'd voiced what plenty had been thinking, but were too wary to say out loud. A few even claimed the outburst had been brewing since long before the final whistle, with the keeper barking at defenders, waving his arms and muttering under his breath after each near miss or misplaced pass. Sources, if you can call folk leaning against stadium walls sources, say the mood in the squad feels brittle. There's talk of certain senior players growing frustrated with what they see as a lack of bite, a lack of direction, even a lack of pride. And when a player as measured as Butland finally bursts, well, folk naturally start wondering whether this is just a one-off flash of temper or the early spark of something far more troublesome. Inside the club, the official line is that emotions run high and that passion is part of the game. And yet, the whispers carry on, gathering speed like a gust tearing down Edmiston Drive. Some supporters are already debating whether this moment might galvanize the squad, while others fear it's a sign the cracks are wider than anyone cared to admit. Whatever the truth, one thing's certain: when a usually stoic figure like Jack Butland raises his voice, the whole of Glasgow listens, and until someone steps forward to steady the ship, the rumour mill will keep spinning, loud, relentless, and full of questions no one seems prepared to answer. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned